can't even believe it, like, that I actually get paid to do the things that I love the most. So it's like, wow, this is what it feels like. I'm a big sport fan, so like Canada hockey is pretty popular, just like it's in the US as well. And when I hear about players getting paid to play their favorite game, like they can't believe it. Like, this is such a beautiful thing. And I thought, I want a piece of that. So now that I get a piece of it, it's like, this is amazing.
Welcome to Beyond the Business Plan. I'm LeAnn Lyon, your guide on this journey to success. We will explore the inspiring stories of visionary leaders and groundbreaking entrepreneurs and unveil the tools and strategies that can empower you to manage your business from anywhere in the world. Join me, LeAnn, as we learn, laugh, and take the leap towards unleashing your joyful business journey. And let's make it happen now.
Today, my guest is the founder of Eterna Love and author of the new book, Choose You, Choose Happiness. Ry is a passionate relationship coach with a background in social work and has helped countless individuals and couples break free from toxic patterns and create lasting, meaningful love. Yum! Her signature program boasts a 96% success rate, guiding clients towards relationships rooted in passion, joy, and authenticity. After leaving a 17-year toxic relationship and losing her sister to depression, Ry turned her pain into purpose and founded Eterna Love to help others heal, grow, and attract love by becoming their truest self. Her book reflects her core belief that, quote, when you choose yourself, you teach the world how to love you, end quote. Outside of coaching, Ry enjoys beach walks, gardening, and staying active, fully embracing the beauty of the present moment. Ry, are you there?
I am. Thank you for that beautiful intro.
What did I miss?
What else? Great job.
What did I miss? What else is there to know about Ry?
Aside, I have both my very calm side, but I also have my crazy, wacky side. I like both. I don't like to put myself in a box. I think I'm every woman all at once. So I pick and choose whichever one wants to come and play.
I love that. Well, which one is showing up today?
I think it's a combination of playfulness and a little bit of sexuality.
There we go. Well, when we're talking about love, a lot of people go right there. Like love equals sex, sex equals love. Is that true?
Not necessarily. For each person is really different. Like in terms of bonding and intimacy can be a very different definition for one person to the next, from a man to a woman as well.
Yeah. And really, sex and sexuality and sensuality are probably not all the same thing. I'm guessing you know something about that, though.
Yes, wink. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you have quite the story, obviously, and congratulations on the book. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you. So excited. After 2.5 years of hard work, it's finally coming out. So I'm super excited.
Yeah. And so whether you're listening to this before or after her book has come out, you're definitely going to want to go look at that. Now let's talk about where they can find it, because you have a really cool website name. When I first typed it in, I did what I think many people will do. They put 2 L's in it, but there's only 1 L.
Only 1 L, Eterna Love, all combined in one, infused. So the reason why I chose Eterna Love, because I do like anything that lasts long, that outlasts this thing. And eternal feels very aligned to me. I've always been very passionate about love all of the chick flick movie. The cheesier, the better. Yeah, the cup, I love it. So I figure, why not call it Eterna Love? Because I want people to find true love. I believe in true love. So I got a chance to finding my third chance at love and finding true love. So I figure, let's do this, like call it Eterna Love, because I do aim for that, for people to find long lasting, committed relationship.
I love that. And she said something about a cup. For those of you just on the podcast, you can come check us out on YouTube. I picked to have my heart and ladybug coffee cup with me today. So yes, I love as well. I also love fun coffee cups.
It's perfect. It's gorgeous, actually.
So you
And it's hearts as well.
oh, thank you. So you said something that right there though that caught my attention. You have had a couple of relationships. Most of us have at some point. I'm blessed to be coming up on a 30th wedding anniversary. Can you believe it?
Oh,
Anybody watching it? Everybody watching on YouTube say, "No way. Come on, no way." It's true. And I did not get married when I was 12. But third time's a charm, and the you know I don't know how to phrase this exactly.
Hmm.
You said you found eternal love now.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly you've thought that the first two times.
Yeah, not so much. So the first time, after my 17 years marriage kind of broke down, I stopped believing in love. That's what tends to happen. And I thought to myself, oh well, my ex-partner told me like, what's the point of leaving the marriage? Because after 30, it's down the hill from here. Plus you got 2 kids and stretch mark, who's gonna really want you? I thought, ooh, yeah, maybe he's right. Who's going to really want to be with a single mom with 2 kids? But I was so miserable in that marriage that I thought to myself, even if I'm by myself, I'd rather be alone than be badly accompanied. So I took a chance and I said, you know what? It's scary, it's terrifying doing everything on my own, but I also want to be happy and not sad all of the time, or being in a marriage but feeling alone, because I was in a couple in a relationship, but I often feel alone or go to bed crying in tears, and I could never really share all of the pain that I was going through. So I took a chance because my sister, just before she passed away, and I remember complaining to her about my relationship every single year. And she said the most harshest thing I've ever heard, but it's something that I needed to hear. She said to me, she said, sis, I love you to death, but I'm so tired of hearing the same old complaint again and again every single year. Either you do something about it or shut the up. So like, that was like a knife in the heart.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really harsh. But at the same time, we, as 2 sisters who love each other, we said we'll always give each other the hard pills so that we would do the right thing by our life and live up to our potential.
Yeah. I think a lot of, well, and this show is called Beyond the Business Plan. So we are going to talk about business here as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that, it just occurred to me, it's a little bit similar. How many people, self here included, decide at age 20, I'm going to become a teacher, or I'm going to go, get into $150,000, $200,000 of debt and become an attorney. I did not become an attorney, just to be clear. I did become a teacher. But I mean, people jump into these wonderful careers, doctor, lawyer, teacher, whatever it is. And then they do or they don't do it for the money. Teachers don't do it for the money. But then you find out that you're miserable. You find out that now you have $200,000 of debt if you've gone into law school and you're miserable. What do you do? How do you get out of that? By the way, average attorney still makes less than $100,000 per year. Average attorney.
Wow.
So how do you even pay off that much debt? And you're an attorney, you think, wow, I'm one of the best paid people in the world. They're not. And so it's kind of a trap also.
Absolutely. There's so many things that society kind of sold you on, and people tell you, kind of like dangling that carrot, and you're like, if I only just follow the script and do this. And I realize following the script oftentimes is not actually the right path for each person, because each person has their own destiny, their own purpose, their own gift. So I decided I wanted to figure out what my gift was to this world. And so when I was deciding at the time whether to stay in my marriage or leave, I went back to my homeland, to Cambodia, after 30 years to rediscover myself. And I had invited my ex-husband at the time. He could come along if he want to. He chose not to. And I said, I'm no longer asking for permission. I am doing this. And I went on my own solo journey, and it was the best thing that ever happened. But I did have to promise one thing to myself, because I had an intuition. It was a lingering intuition that kept nudging on me, saying, Ry, you got to go back to your homeland. And if you want the answer of whether you should stay or whether you should leave, this is the way to do it. And we're going to offer you a way to make that possible through a trip. And so one day I was just at my parents' house, and I never go surfing on the internet on my brother's computer. That day I went, it was late in the evening, and then pops up an advertisement of a vacation to go to Cambodia. And it was one of the best deals I've ever seen. And the voice came in and said, this is the gift. Do you take it or do you refuse?
I'm losing my mind here. That is the coolest thing that's been happening in my world too. It happens in business and personal, by the way. And I absolutely believe that. I think we have those whispers, and it's a matter, do you pay attention and do you step into it? I think that's just amazing.
And you want to know the goosebump story of it all?
Yes.
So I really couldn't afford it at the time. I had the limit on my credit card, but it's how do I pay that back after? And of course, being a mom, you think of all these different things that your kid could do, all of the sport, the clothing, the school fees. I couldn't justify it by allowing myself to go on this trip. But the voice was so loud, I decided to trust for once. I press purchase, close my eye, and go, oh my God, like, what did I do? And then knowing full well that I was promoted at my job at the time, that taking this vacation, they would demote me because it's too short of a timing. And my ex-husband would be extremely upset with me leaving. But I said, I am going to choose myself for once. I've never done that in that 17 years marriage. It was always about him. And so I didn't want it to go back to my old job. I was scrambling, trying to do everything, gave CV everywhere to make sure that I didn't get demoted. I did get demoted for going on that vacation. It was too short. And when I came back, everything just arranged itself. That credit card debt that I had, because I didn't know my sister would pass away. So when she passed away, she left me money. So that cleared everything for me. And the first day of coming back to work, I got a promotion. Another position opened up, and they needed my expertise. So everything worked out for the best. And I came back with clarity and answer.
Oh, that is a beautiful story. It's so hard sometimes to step forward in faith. And, again, this, Joyminder Solutions is all about helping people to unleash their joyful business journey. And that usually does involve a step of faith and a step of also reflection, looking into yourself and saying, where am I wanting to go? How am I going to get there? But also looking around and seeing the resources that are available to help you. We're going to dig right into that when we get back. We're going to take a really short break. And I want to hear about your transition, how you stepped into entrepreneurship, because you've just been talking about being in a job and getting a promotion. So at some point, you chose yourself again, and we're going to hear about that right after this. Hey, coffee aficionados and entrepreneurs, LeAnn Lyon here. Are you craving that caffeine kick, but looking for a healthier alternative? Well, 9 years ago, I discovered the ultimate collection of energizing options to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit without the jitters. Discover your next favorite pick-me-up today and keep your business dreams brewing strong. Hear what it did for me by visiting this website, whyilovemycoffee.com. Yes, that's the URL, whyilovemycoffee.com, because your peak performance deserves more than just another cup of joe. And we're back. Hey, we were just talking about, your amazing transition story, choosing yourself, choosing love eventually. You didn't know that right away. But you also have chosen yourself as an entrepreneur. And so just before the break, we were talking about how you came back from this incredible life-changing vacation, and now you have, you've gotten a raise and so forth, but fast forward, I don't know how many years, you don't have to reveal, but now you're an entrepreneur in and of your own right.
Mhm.
About that transition.
So my mom was always an entrepreneur. Like this lady is so good at what she does. She is one of the best negotiator I've ever seen. She works the scene like crazy. And because when I was growing up, I didn't want it to be anything similar to my mom. So I'm like, entrepreneurship, it's not for me. Like, I work for other companies and that's what I'm good at. And so one day, like I just had this thing. Like I remember being a kid and going, I never take orders. I hate following people. Like I hate following directives and stuff. I like to do my own creativity and test things out. I like to learn and explore. I don't like to just this is one way to do it and that's the only way. So I'm like, well, wait, maybe there might be a couple other ways of getting to the same result, and but just a fun way of getting there. And then I thought, over a while, it's just like that entrepreneurship keeps coming back all of the time. And then I realized, well, maybe it is in my DNA. Let me just explore it rather than rejecting. I don't want to be like mom, because I wanted to find my own identity. And then I started going to these different networking of entrepreneur. And that day when I met, like my intuition are pretty strong. So I went to this one event and a whisper said to me, there's this one person at this networking. She's going to be the key to unlock your entrepreneur world. You need to connect with her. I didn't even know who she was. There's a major amount of crowd, could have been anyone, but somehow it pointed me to this particular person. So I listened, I took intrigue. Before I know it, this one connection opened the door to me having like a business partner in a clinic doing what I do most very well, helping adolescent navigate the dating scene and the heartache, and parents who were struggling with their kids, how to raise them, how to discipline them. So that's kind of how my entrepreneur world kind of opened up for me. And I realized from that moment, I would do this job even if they didn't pay me. And that's why I realized, okay, I got to go into the entrepreneur world.
And that is an absolute sign. I really believe that you're doing something that you love. I'm going to take you back to something else you said. You said when you were a kid, you didn't like to follow rules. What did you love to play? Do you remember when you had imagination, you could play? What do you remember playing when you were a kid?
I was always the teacher. I was so bossy. I boss everyone around. I taught them things that they didn't know. I was like, "Do you know this and that? Let me teach you." And my dad said one day when I grew up, he asked me this question. He said, "Whatever happened to that little girl that was fearless, that was like always telling everybody what to do and just running the scene? Where did she go?" And I said, "I don't know. Like, society taught me to quiet down and to kind of just not really shine my own light." And then that really woke me up. And I thought, okay, maybe I should get back to my inner child.
Uh, is there a relationship there between that conversation with your dad and your step into entrepreneurship? Was there a timeline?
No, well, yes, a little bit, but it was more like a wake-up call for me to return to my power, to return to who I am. As a kid, I'm very determined. I'm very decisive. When I make a decision, I never back down. Just to give you an example, like at the time, my dad and my mom wanted a better future for us, and they decided to move to another province of Canada, which is more of the prairie. And we were living in Montreal at the time, which is multicultural, a mix of every culture, and you can learn French and English and speak a whole bunch of different language. My dad said, we're going to move because our friend said there's a job over there. So we're going to take the whole entire family and move there. And I was like, I was 13 at the time. And I said, Dad, I think that is the dumbest decision you could possibly make.
13-year-old girls are good at just saying.
Because my dad and I have this very tight relationship. I don't have to say a whole lot to understand what's in his heart and in his mind. And he does the same with me. So we don't really have to convey or talk that much. And I can always speak my truth with my dad. He'll never judge me and vice versa. And so when I said that, I said, well, here's the thing. Let me break it down why that's not a good reason. We just came to Montreal. We're finally adjusted. We're speaking the French language. We learn English. You're establishing, you're working, and mom as well. We're making some income. We're seeing traction to move that whole entire thing, your whole family, to a friend that don't you really know how it's going. Because sometimes people tell beautiful story, but it turns out when you arrive there, it's a completely different thing. So you're willing to like kind of put your kids' future for what you fought so hard to trusting somebody that you're not really sure. I'm sure your friend meant well, but you know. And I go, knowing me, know how I work, I need social. I can't live in a prairie area, like isolated from people. I will not thrive. And dad said, well, no matter what, we're going anyway. I said, you know what, dad, you can go and take the rest of our siblings, like my siblings with you. I will be just fine, 13 years old. I will find myself a job, live with somebody else. I don't care who I have to live with, but I can guarantee you 5 years, 10 years from there, you're going to see me succeed. And that's a promise. And so I kept at it for months. He said, we're going to move. I said, well, this is my choice. And then at the very end, he backed out after a couple of months. He's like, I guess in the end, we're staying in Montreal. I'm like, yeah, that's what I
was
thought.
sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm like, what's going to happen? Did she change his mind? You did it. I mean, you impacted it. Certainly. That is an amazing, and truly, I mean, 13-year-old girls, I have 2 daughters. They're not usually, unopinionated. Look at you. Wow. Okay, so I hear what you're saying about, that you were not a wallflower, but at some point, and that I think that just does happen. And let's keeping it on the business track here too. We have what's in us. You said you were a teacher. You were very bossy when you're young. I played teacher as well. But you grow up and suddenly you're like, I need to make I need to make money. I need to have an income. You start having a lifestyle that you imagine. I know young women whose moms, maybe my own, whose moms love to treat them with fancy nails or cute cuts. Well, then if you think you're entitled to that, it's very easy to slip into even debt, going after things that you can't actually afford. But, there's so many ways that generation to generation, we can kind of mess up. I want to share a quick story related to what you said. I came back from Tony Robbins back in 1999 is when I first went to see Tony Robbins. It was probably around 2001. After a couple years of having done some firewalks and done a lot of training, and I had a conversation with my mom. I said, Mom, have you noticed anything different? And she said, yeah, it's really nice to have my daughter back, the one that I knew. Because again, by that point in my early 30s, I had strayed from who I knew I was, and I was coming back to who I really, truly was meant to be. And by the way, that was after I left teaching.
Okay.
So, teaching was a necessary step in my journey. I'm glad I did it. I still teach. But being a teacher in a school system really did a job on my soul in a way.
I think it's important to listen to our soul and that nudge feeling that we have inside of us. I try to honor it as much as possible. I'm not always very good at it, but more and more I put it into practice. Like, for example, writing my book. I never started out wanting to write my book. It was just an inside voice that kept saying, your story needs to be told. I'm like, why my story? Like, what makes me special out than another? And there's so many stories. There's so many like more difficult stories and all of that. But that voice just keeps kind of knocking on the door constantly, and the volume just get louder and louder. And I'm like, I don't know anything about writing. And I've always prided myself on being a really good relationalist, conversations and all of that stuff. But writing is not my thing. Like I've always said, I'm not good at writing. And the fact that I made it through university, I don't even know how I did it miraculously, but it's because I have hard work ethics. So that's how I always succeed. But I said, never will I actually write. It's the last thing I'll do. And then that voice came in. And when the calling gets really loud, because this is how I know something I cannot ignore, when the voice, the volume over a long period of time does not fade away and it gets louder, then there's something in there that I have to listen to. So I said, where do I even start? And they're like, we'll give you a sign. And so I'm a networker with a lady, and she apparently helps people with writing books. I didn't know how much she charged at the time, and she happens to call me. I left my soccer game, and then one thing to the next, she said, I said, I really want to write a book, but I have no idea where to start, and I don't really have the budget. I don't even know what I can afford. And she said, I help people write book, and Ry, I really like you. That's one of the things. She really liked me, and that's why she reached out to me. I would love to help you write your book. And then the pricing that she gave was exactly the pricing that I could afford. And I thought, okay, well, that is the sign from the universe. So let's do this. And it turned out, because she didn't know, but she was on Messenger. She forgot to hang up the phone call. And so I can still hear her on the phone. And she called up her best friend, and she was actually in a really bad position. She couldn't afford to pay her rent. And so my working with her, through me making my book become possible, I allowed her to be able to afford to cover for her rent. And she was over the moon. She's like, God sent me somebody to work with, and now I'm actually going to get some income to be able to cover my rent. And that really melted my heart. I'm like, wow, it's funny how the universe gives you a sign, and then it allows me to write my book, but it also saves somebody from being out on the streets. So it was perfect.
Hallelujah. I mean, that is such a great story. And again, truly, I hope I know somebody hearing this, if this is calling out to you, if you know there's something on your heart that and maybe a voice in your head that's been letting you know there's something out there, this is your sign. Stop ignoring it. Step forward, find someone. There's two people talking right here, right now. Reach out to either one of us, and we would be happy to talk with you and see, maybe it's something we know, maybe it's someone we know that can help you move forward in your time. And towards the end of the show, we're definitely going to talk about how you can best connect with us. Of course, we probably have our information below here on anywhere you're listening to this show. But I think your point is so important. We have to, I think it's our duty, it's our job to look for and step into that thing that we're called to do. And like you said, right at the top of the show, you find that it's something you'd actually do for free. Find that thing that you're willing to do for free, and you get paid for it.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing feeling.
It really is. I can't even believe it, like that I actually get paid to do the things that I love the most. So it's like, wow, this is what it feels like. Like I'm a big sport fan. So like I have, like in Canada, hockey is pretty popular, just like it's in the US as well. And when I hear about players getting paid to play their favorite game, like they can't believe it. Like this is such a beautiful thing. And I thought, I want a piece of that. So now that I get a piece of it, it's like, this is amazing.
Yeah, for real. And in your story about writing, an author that I really enjoy reading is John Bevere, Bevere. He's written so many books, but like you, he absolutely resisted writing anything. He actually said, I think he's in one of his books, he said he got like a D in English only because the instructor did not want to see him again. It's like, just pass, just move on. And so when he had the call to write a book, he's like, God, no way. There's no chance. And
Mhm.
so he resisted for, I think, a couple of years until finally two separate human people independently, 2 weeks apart, spoke the same things to him and said, John, if you don't answer this call, somebody else is going to get this path,
Mhm.
which I
Mhm.
think is fascinating. And so when the second person did it, he literally sat down, he wrote out a contract. He said, God, here's the contract. You said I have to write. I will write. It's up to you to make this work and to send, and he says, even today, he said that he only remembers writing about 30% of the books.
Mm.
Another
Mm.
70% is just, he said, it's not even me writing. And it
Yeah.
is him writing. He's not using a ghostwriter. Nobody is writing his books for him. He just
Mm.
literally says that he's almost unconscious writing because it's just flowing through Holy Spirit.
Yeah, I totally believe that. I actually, the moment I decided to make a decision to write the book, that night, I dreamt of the whole entire book, of every chapter, of everything that was written in that book. Of course, it didn't turn out to be exactly like that, but it gave me a glimpse of like I saw every chapter, every section. It was so perfectly lined out that I had a vision and a roadmap, and that's what the next day I started opening my journal and started just writing. So I do feel you that sometimes certain things it feels like it's just kind of passing through you. It's not even you speaking or writing.
Well, that may or may not have happened to me as well, but I haven't started it. I do have the outline. I actually told it to a couple of friends, and one of them wrote a check, and she said, "LeAnn, this is for your this is for your book. I am buying your first copy."
I love
She wrote me a check, which is still on my vision board right over here. It's right there. It hasn't been cashed.
it.
But and I'm quite certain I will keep the check and give her the signed copy one day.
I love it.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're going to come back in just a moment. I have a few more questions to ask you about your entrepreneurial journey. And of course, we want to also connect with how do people find you and learn more about what you're doing.
Hey, sales setters, are you ready to jumpstart your entrepreneurial journey or give your business a powerful refresh? Join us at the next and Restart Your Business Summit, where you'll discover the tools, strategies, and inspiration you need to thrive. Learn more at joyminder.com. That's JOYMINDER.com, and look for the Restart Your Business Summit icon. Don't miss out. Your future business awaits.
And we are back. I am here with Ry Duong, and she is amazing. She's the author of, book. She is an entrepreneur in her own right. And Ry,
Yeah.
what did you wish you had known before you actually stepped into entrepreneurship? Or was it just so easy, you just never have stumbled at all?
What would I wish I could have known? There's so many things though. The entrepreneur world is it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of up and down. It's a lot of problem solving. I love all of that because my days are never boring. They're extremely entertaining, sometimes a little bit too much. But what I wish I could have known, I think it was just yes, this is the lesson that came to me recently as I was in Florida with my partner just last week. And we were at this beautiful scenery together, dreaming of our new home together and the lifestyle that we wanted. So we love the sun and we love nature and we love water. And I love being on a paddleboard and just doing things and being on a ship. We talked about, I think we said that, like living year round in our own ship. So, and so we realized in order to call things in, you need to be able to live and dream of the possibility and don't let your mind limit those possibilities. Just welcome it and then be playful with it. And that's how you call in all of these different things that you want in your life. And so from that moment, I realized that being an entrepreneur, it does not necessarily mean you have to struggle. There'll be moments of ups and downs. Just take them for what they are. Don't judge them, and then just make the best out of it. There are days when I'm crushing my business, doing a lot of work, and I'm beat and I'm tired. I'm like, what's the point of doing this when I see so little result? But I think to myself, I go back to Cambodia when I went back there, and I realized I could be that little girl that asked Canada to, take us, to accept us. I could have been still stuck in my country or in the Thai refugee camp because we lived there for 9 years, and have the brains that I have the beauties that I have, and have all of these amazing ideas and creativity, but have no like space to express that. And I am so privileged to be here, to be able to manifest, to call that in through my work ethic and to playing with the best people. Like LeAnn, you were just so adorable. Just like, I just want to bite you like every time you come back on. I was like, and I just love what you stand for, like just this real authentic person and just living a lifestyle that feels true to you. That's what I live for. And so I realized the entrepreneur world is just a way for me to showcase my real purpose, to showcase my real me, to amplify it bigger. So every day I'm learning and I'm shifting, but I never forget where I come from, and I never forget why I'm doing what I'm doing. At the end of the day, all the money, the prestige don't mean nothing. I just want to be able to impact people and to make my parents, who made a lot of sacrifice, to make them proud for saying to themselves, it was all worth it, all of the things they gone through, and also to make my sister, to carry her legacy. Because I dream of one day being able to be an entrepreneur, to fund people's company, an entrepreneur that has a big dream, and make that become a reality. I want to be the genie in the bottle, but in a reversion.
Love that so much. That's such a big vision, and vision truly matters. I mean, Simon Sinek said it in his TED Talk when he, launched his whole business with the TED Talk, start with why. You have to start with why. And so again, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, man, I've had this why, I've had this calling. Don't ignore it. I mean, look, and not every business can be run from a boat. I also plan to run my business from a boat. In fact, this summer I will spend a lot of time. I may even do some recordings from there because I want to start practicing. Yay. She sent balloons for anybody listening. She's very fun with the reactions on YouTube. You definitely should come over and check it out. But something else I mentioned in the introduction is that you love to stay active. You do. You just mentioned paddleboarding, something I have not yet tried to do. I will do it this summer. We have, I live in Minnesota. We have 15,000 lakes and many right here. I know I can get a hold of a paddleboard. I know so many people who love it. Now, I boat on the Mississippi. I don't think I'm going to paddleboard on the Mississippi. That's not a thing, but I definitely want to try that. But how do you balance your personal well-being? And okay, I'm going to give you a specific, for instance. You've got that day when you've got so much on your plate and you're running behind. How do you balance that? Because you can't ignore your physical self forever and stay fit. So how do you balance that?
It's a non-negotiable for me, my fitness. Like this year, 2025, I really my dad taught me that your words is everything. So don't say something that you don't mean. So this year I vowed to myself that I want to be as fit as possible, not become an athlete like some friends that I have, and they're like running marathon and triathlon and all of that. And I'm super happy for them. But for me, it's just being fit at whatever weight and whatever feels good to me. So every morning before I start my business, it's a non-negotiable. I work out to YouTube channels for 30, 45 minutes. And I do muscle training as well. So my partner and I, it's like killing two birds with one stone. We both go and work out together. We bond together. We drive and we talk about our day, and we talk about the connection together. So it's a win-win and we push each other to be at our very best. Then I do the things like really honestly, I love sport in general. So I do my Muay Thai and I do my kickboxing because I need to let out some aggression, and that's the best place to get it out. Because I do have this very competitive side that keeps me angry and keeps me calm when I let out those aggression. It is the place to do that.
So wait, I heard you say a couple things. So I just want to, I love being able to copy what somebody else is doing so successfully. I know before we started our recording, we talked about the fact that I have my first degree black belt, something we're going to talk about on your podcast. We'll get back to that in a minute. But I love martial arts as well. But you mentioned kickboxing, and then you mentioned TV, working out, and then you mentioned driving, and you mentioned muscle work. So it sounds to me like you are going to a gym, but sometimes you work out from home. So do you have it kind of mapped out?
Yeah, I do. I do. I have it mapped out consistently. So every morning, like before the kids wake up, it's me who does my workout. And sometimes I do it with my partner, whether my partner can join or not, because it's a little bit tricky for him with the kids in the morning. So he has his two kids, and I have my two kids. They're older, so they're independent. They do their own things. And so I work out during that 1 hour is just for me. Like I put on YouTube, or I become so accustomed to all of the workout. I know what I can do and I do it within that hour. So that always sets me off like in a really perfect energy zone. After I'm done working out, I'm in my creative flow. I'm ready to conquer the earth. Like I got the energy of a crazy person. So I know this is what's going to really help me. And it allows me to think properly and to show up in my best version. Then I show up better for my client. I'm in a different space. I'm happy. I'm joyful. But when I don't work out, I realize that, yeah, sometimes there are days when I'm like, oh, I did a little bit too much. I'm just going to slack it and kind of not work out. And it feels good at the beginning, but my energy level is way lower compared to the days when I do work out. Yeah. And then we incorporate like in the evenings, we actually go to the gym to build muscle workout because as you get older, strength training, it's best for you. That's what it's been shown in the research. So we do that for ourselves. And then I have on my own, before I used to do it with my boyfriend, where we go and train kickboxing and doing Muay Thai together, but his schedule has changed. So I've always prioritized myself. Like as much as I want to hang out with my boyfriend, I am not quitting kickboxing and stuff for his schedule. So I said, okay, well, you can't afford to do it. I'm going to go and I'll do my thing. And then it just gives us something different to come home and share with one another. And then he sees me coming back. Like I'm happy. I'm training with the guys and I'm teaching him different technique. And he's like, oh my God, he just looks at me in awe.
Okay, now, so you're saying, okay, let me see if I got this, because I think this is a really great, again, listening entrepreneurs or prospective aspiring entrepreneurs, this is so important what she's saying. How you start your day matters. And, talk to all the gurus you want. I love when I'm good at exercising, which I'm not always. It's the morning. It's the morning walk. It is what you said. How you start your day is so important. So she starts out with energy. She does her thing. Then you're saying you also, at least occasionally, how many times a week do you go to the gym?
Times in the evening.
Okay, 3 times for the actual strength training. And I'm going to add on to that. The older we get, the more important. More people die of pneumonia in their older ages because they don't have the strength to cough. Mm-hmm. Also, bone strength strengthens you, muscle strength strengthens your bones. Many people will die from a hip fracture or a bone fracture but they're fracturing because they didn't keep up on their strength training. So yes, strength training is super important. And then I'm guessing you're saying that the Muay Thai or kickboxing, those are classes that you attend. Yeah. How many hours a week are you working out, my friend?
Quite a bit.
Okay, that's fine. It's not required that you do that much. But again, if you do only do 5 minutes in the morning, it's probably better than doing 0 minutes in the morning. And if you do 5 minutes in the morning now, you can do 10 minutes in the morning next week. So even if you work your way into it, I think it's a very important part. And I agree with you, even though I am not, at the moment, I have slept off a little bit on my fitness, and I'm just being honest about that. But it also has to end, because if you don't have your physical health, you really don't have anything else. I mean, it may not seem like the most important thing until you don't have it, then it's the only thing. So
Yeah, I got to witness it firsthand with my aunt when I went back to Cambodia. From my dad's side, they were much more wealthier, but house, she didn't have her house, so she paid the money that she made to buy back her health. Whereas I was with my mom's family that are extremely poor, but were happy. They were healthy and well, and there was community and help. And it was just like I saw the two world, and I thought, oh, one rich person, but yet they're paying with their health, and one who's really poor, but yet so generous with their money and their time. And then they helping each other out. That's what I want to embody, like mixing out the two without sacrificing my health. So that was a big lesson when I came back. I was like, it's a non-negotiable for me. And you don't have to train like I do. You don't have to be crazy like that. I like with my boyfriend, what he does on days when he cannot train because he's so busy with the kids, he does his push-up. Like, so it's like he does 10-15 minutes of push-up, and you do it on a consistent basis. It shows like his chests are popping out, and it's nothing major. I'm like, when I'm working on YouTube, I'm not doing any like crazy stuff. It's free weight training. Like, I am just moving my body, doing the things that I like, just as long as I'm moving. And there are periods when I do like, go down, like slack off a little bit, but I pick it up pretty quickly. I practice kindness to myself, so I don't ever judge myself. Yeah, the first reaction is like, oh my God, you didn't. And then as soon as I catch myself doing that, I'm like, what does this help me with? Nothing. Does it contribute to my well-being? Absolutely not. So go F off. It's like,
and always remember, treat yourself with the kindness that you treat other people with. Absolutely. Well, this has been so much fun. I think we could keep doing this all day. And we are going to continue talking at some point, because I have been blessed to be invited to be on your show. Tell me about your show, just really quick.
yes, so it's called Nothing Less Than Extraordinary. I was getting tired of hearing all of these celebrities and all of their accomplishment, as much as I admire it, but I wanted to hear the average Joe and average Jane's voices. I met janitor at my kid's school who've done extraordinary thing, who outlived so many stuff and the war and all of that, and we never get to celebrate them. So I came up with a podcast that wanted to celebrate humanity in all of its form, through all of this up and down, and yet still say, we, even though we are mortal, we are pretty badass to the God that's up there. So I wanted to showcase to the God, but to humanity, to celebrate every single individual. So I'm so happy you said yes to be on the podcast.
I'm super excited to be there. Very, very excited. Oh, it kind of reminded me of something quickly. My brother-in-law is named Christer Berg, and he's a photographer in Raleigh. And when he was launching his business, he went out, and I so can't remember the name of the book. I know I have a copy though, but he went about and took photos of the average person in Raleigh. He took pictures of the UPS driver and the post delivery person, and just all over the places, all the way to dancers and ballet and all sorts of things. And it really launched his career, eventually turning it into a book. And it's stunning photography, let's just say. It is absolutely amazing. So if anybody's inspired by the average Joe or the average Jane. Oh, wait, did you just call me average? Anyway.
Not less than extraordinary. You may be ordinary people. You've done extraordinary thing.
And so you'll want to check out Ry's podcast. You'll also want to maybe go check out Christer Berg Photography. So, all right. Well, that said, how else can people find you? Where do we find you on social media? How can people best connect with you? Is it on social media, LinkedIn, email, website? Spell it out in case we have anybody listening and not able to see what's on our screens.
Absolutely. So you can go visit me on eternalove.net. You can find every information about me. So that's ETERNALOVE.net. And then you can also check me out, me and my couple. We do funny videos and stuff like that on TikTok with my partner, Leandro Alvarez. It's called Irresistibly Us. So go check us out there.
I can't wait. I'm totally going over there.
Yes, please do.
I know I'm stuffing into TikTok soon too. A little cooking is waiting, but it's happening. Yeah, for me, my name is LeAnn Lyon, and you can find me at LeAnn, LeAnn, Lyon, LYON.com. And from there, you can get to everything else from Joyminder Solutions to this show, Beyond the Business Plan. So, Ry, any last encouragement, thoughts, last comments that you want to share with the aspiring or perhaps already deciding people going into entrepreneurship?
I would just say, you were made perfectly as you are, wherever you are on your journey right now, even though it seems like it might be dark or you're not moving forward, you're exactly where you need to be. Just keep working, keep moving forward. And long before you know it, you look back and you go, I can't believe I did all of this. I accomplished so much. So I believe in you. LeAnn believe in you. We're cheering you on. So we wish you all the very best. Ah, and LeAnn gave me hearts too. So it's hearts to everybody.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ry Duong. I really appreciate you for being here, all this fun, and to our audience as well. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Business Plan to unleash your joyful business potential. And remember, entrepreneurship is a voyage that you can take with others. So find your tribe for the journey. And give us a like or subscribe or do whatever you do on your favorite podcast or video platform to keep shining and aligning with your purpose and Joyminder Solutions. Then come back every week for our new inspiring episodes. And until that time, I'm LeAnn Lyon, your Chief Joy Officer, signing off. Keep spreading the joy, keep leading with heart, and I will catch you on the next wave of